I love how you described that. Like, I'm not a perfectionist either. I create and I get work out there versus sitting on it. It might be good enough. People might not like it, but I trust in me to let the world see what I have to share.
Talks a lot about ship it. The creative process is not done until you ship it. Like get it out in the world and iterate.
I might fail, but it's not a failure. I've failed a ton of times, but I've not failed because it just all gets me back to where I should be.
I love the way that you've navigated outcomes in your life, not identities. Failure is an outcome, not an identity. That doesn't speak anything about me.
I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. Like, had my parents not supported me in that, I wonder where I'd be.
Therapy.
Yeah, no, literally, I still am.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Embracing Human podcast. I am your host, Scott Stone, and today I'm here with a very special guest, Sarah DeYoung. She is an artist, a designer, and an educator, and the founder of Sarcreate, a brand that is spanning what seems to be all the islands these days. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be here and just chat and see where we flow.
Yeah, I've gotten to witness your art, from different shops around Maui and your social presence. And I love to see, it feels so true to you. It feels very much like your creation and obviously inspired by other things, but just something that naturally flows out of you.
Yeah, it really does. I always say my art is just an extension of me and just my heart and just everything that I'm into. So the colors that I use, soft, calming colors, inspired by my everyday life, like all the things that I like to partake in, all my hobbies. So yeah, it really is me.
Could you tell me a little bit about where you got into art?
So I've been an artist my entire life, which I feel like every artist says that. It's so true. Like from the earliest memory, for me, it's been creating with my mom. So in our basement at home in Michigan, there's a whole shelf just of every art supply we could possibly think of. So shout out to my mom for really nurturing and instilling that in me. Painting with watercolors on days that I'm sick, home from school, or my mom signing me up for extracurricular fine art classes. My grandma signing me up for summer art camps and stuff like that. So yeah, my family definitely helped instill that. And then I went to art school. So I studied K through 12 art education. So I've always been an educator at heart, actually, loved to work with kids, adults, everybody, all ages, just sharing art and teaching. So yeah, I went to school for that in Michigan, K through 12 art ed with a minor in painting. So I've actually always been a painter as well. And then after I graduated college, I wasn't feeling very inspired to create anymore. I think it's because I just had to create nonstop for 4 or 5 years for these grades and projects. It wasn't really me. Yeah, after I graduated college, I taught for a little bit, taught within college, but I actually started career nannying. And so nannying and private educating for families. And then yeah, flash forward to just kind of getting a little burnt out by that and started creating again, which is around during the pandemic, which I feel was a time that a lot of people had new creative sparks. And here I am today, but there's a lot of steps that have gotten me from when I started kind of creating again to now.
I love that. And it's always heartwarming when I hear, and you didn't quite say this, but I'm guessing was the case where you picked an education path that is, my mom is Asian. So the joke is if your parents are Asian, you're a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure, and so I picked a career path that was very much based in what I was told to do or what I thought was the right thing.
Yeah.
And so my technically my degree's in chemical engineering. And so, it's
look at you now.
And right. I teach breath work and help people cry, and it's cool to witness the path that people take because, K through 12 art ed, my guess is that your family was fully behind that.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked that they were fully behind that because even from the start when I'm hey, I'm going to go to art school and I was originally going to do graphic design, which is funny because that's where I'm right back to. But Yeah, they were fully behind that, which a lot of parents I can see, like maybe, why don't you choose that or that? My dad was really stoked though that it was going to be a teacher because he's like, oh, the world always needs teachers.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just so thankful that they did support that.
Yeah.
I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. Like, had my parents not supported me in that, I wonder where I'd be.
Therapy.
Yeah, no, literally, I still am.
Right. And yeah, that's a whole nother thing we might jump into later, but it's really cool to witness that, you know, you allowed that path to unfold to the point where what you said, right? Like you came out of college and you've been creating so much that you kind of took a break from it. And then lo and behold, the intelligence of life finds you back into that seat.
Yeah.
And could you tell me a little bit about, like, you know, how was it to walk away from that path and what you found in doing so?
When I like walked away from creating and like was like deep into like being an art educator, I would always say like I'm an educator first, artist second, because I didn't even want to identify almost as an artist anymore. I was just like tired of it and like I'm not good at this anymore. Like it's not fun. But it feels so good now to identify again as an artist, and not that we need these identities and labels, but it also is a huge part of who I am. And like, so to believe that I'm an artist again, it was easy at first because I'm like, oh, I'm not an artist anymore. But I think that was like what was missing in my life. Like just to create, like that is such an outlet. So yeah, coming back into being an artist, it was quite the journey. It started by getting my first iPad during the pandemic. And like, that's when I started creating digital art. And it's funny to look back on. Like I was doing like portraits and very cartoony stuff, which is not what I do now. But if you look back on my Instagram way back, you can find. But it felt really good to return to the arts again. But for the last many years, actually, I've been creating for me, like bits and pieces, but I've also been just creating for other people. Oh, I'm going to just create this design for this client and so on. And now, after having been doing this for like 4 years full time, I'm creating more for me, not just because of what other people want. And that feels really good.
I bet.
That feels so good.
Yeah, I feel like that, and I wouldn't identify as an artist surely in the, like, I mean, as I say that out loud, I'm like absolutely an artist, because what I do in the space holding world, like it is a true art form.
Absolutely.
To be able to hold that delicately and help lead people back to very unfortunate times. So I guess what I would say is like what I have found, especially with other friends who create in a more like tangible way, filling or like creating for oneself fills the bucket more than just the portfolio for other people and the projects that other people are hiring them for. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. But then there's this like fine line. It's like, okay, I need to create for myself to like fulfill myself and whatnot. But it's like, then I also need to make a living. So it's so hard. I'm still finding out like where my sweet spot and my flow is. But for the last many years, it's mainly been, creating for other people, which I'm so grateful for also, that people trust me to create for them and for their brands. But creating for yourself is the most fulfilling.
Yeah, and just on the note of creating for other people, like I've seen some of the projects that are coming out lately, whether it's, I mean, some of the things I've seen on your Instagram, whether it's surfboard designs or onesie rompers or, you know, the cowrie glasses. What's it been like to watch something that was in your mind come into reality?
It's just so fun, like that process. And when I create, I just have it just like comes through me and I just get like locked into that flow. So sometimes I blink and it's like, oh, we started and like we're already done, because I was just like so locked in. But when I'm creating, I just really trust myself and my intuition in like to like lead a creative project. And it just flows naturally out of me. And I tell like other artists that I like work with and like coach, it's like you just need to trust in what you're creating, because it's a really sweet process.
It's beautiful you use the word trust, because as you were talking about this like coming through you, the visual I got was like motherhood, like when a woman creates a baby. Like it just comes through, you know, like there's nothing you really have to do other than kind of get out of the way of it. You know, it's like, just let it birth. And it alludes to what you said there about like trusting yourself, like trusting that what you're birthing is for the world. And it's a really beautiful thing to witness.
I love how you described that. I'm birthing a lot of art babies.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing, like I'm not a perfectionist either. I also tell like other artists that I coach this, because they're like, oh, I'm like, you know, I'm going back and forth. I can't get this like done. I don't want to like put this out yet. And I'm like, I just share my experience, and it's having just an innate trust that what I'm creating it's not perfect, but it's perfect. It's right, you know?
That's a good distinction.
Like, I create and I get work out there versus sitting on it and being like, oh, is this good enough? Like, are they going to like this? And it's like, it might be good enough. People might not like it, but I trust in me to let the world see what I have to share.
It reminds me so much of Seth Godin's book, The Practice. It talks a lot about like ship it. Like the creative process is not done until you ship it. You know, it's like get it out in the world and iterate over and over. Like the 10,000 hour rule of this is not, you know, and it reminds me of this like study some college did somewhere where they took a pottery class and they split it in half, and half the class did one, like they had 30 days to make one bowl. And then they had the other half of the class do 30 bowls in 30 days. And then they compared who made a better bowl, and it was the people who made 30 bowls in 30 days, because they were like, just make messy action, sloppy, execute, get out of the way and do it.
Yeah.
Versus this like, but like this line and the shadow, and it's, you know, it's like, okay, well, you could just die on analysis paralysis. So
yeah. Wait, that's beautiful to hear that, because that's what I do. I create the 30 bowls, you know?
Right.
Like, and I don't even think twice about it. It just exists within me.
Right.
So to hear that, really cool.
It's really beautiful to like go back to what I said earlier about hearing your family be in your corner for your choice in life, because what I hear in you saying, that's just what I do naturally, there's no thought about it.
Yeah.
What I hear in that is there wasn't a pre-installed conversation in your head of doubt yourself.
Yeah. No, there wasn't. And there's totally been times.
Sure.
One thing my dad said to me, I think it was like a year or two ago, but it's just like stuck with me. He's like, when I like come back in life, I want to come back as you. And like
so cute.
That, and I like, oh, I feel like emotional like saying that. Like I have a dad that, you know, worked the 9 to 5 his whole life, you know, save for retirement, you know, take the 1 or 2 vacations a year, like very like typical by the book mainland Midwest. And so for him, and I've always known that he's like proud of me. But for him to say that, like it just meant so much. I'm like, whoa, you like you think that about me. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, and like what I really hear in that is like, you know, like the generational healing that's occurring by you having the courage to step into your calling. Like your dad may have wanted to be an entrepreneur, but didn't have the ability to. And so he created a life where his offspring could, you know, it's like incredible to witness that.
Wow. That's actually great. Like to hear you say that too, because when I think of my dad, I think of the most driven, hardworking, like successful guy, but yeah, always worked for, you know, big corporate companies. And I do feel like I get to live that like path for him a little bit. Cause that seems like something he would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I say, because my parents lived a very similar life. My parents, you know, 9 to 5, you know, American dream, came from nothing and created a lot. And what I say is my parents worked really hard, so I don't have to. I still choose to, but I don't have to. I get to, I want to, I love to do what I do. And I would do it no matter what. You know, it's kind of what you said earlier about there's no options here. It's like succeed.
Yeah.
You know,
like I will not fail. I cannot fail. I might like fail, but it's not a failure. It's just like redirect. Like I've failed a ton of times, but I've not failed, if that makes sense. Because it just all gets me back to where I should be. Right.
Yeah. And it's, I love that the way that you've navigated outcomes in your life, not identities, you know, like failure is an outcome, not an identity. But a lot of people take it on as an identity. Like oh, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, bro, like pause. Let's just notice that something happened and then you correlated it to yourself. That's not how this works. Just because the client doesn't like the outcome or whatever, right? Someone cancels the project or something like that, that doesn't speak anything about me.
No.
You know, and a lot of people, because of the slipperiness of the ego, they're like, no, this is the evidence I needed to affirm that I'm a piece of shit, that I'm a loser, that I'm a failure. And it's like, whoa, whoa, hold on. How about we just feel that, let that go, and start again?
Bam. Beautiful.
So as an educator and providing coaching for other aspiring artists who want to learn whether it's more about the business or more about self-expression, what have you found as common themes in those conversations?
I have found a common theme is that none of us actually know what we're doing.
100%.
And just even me, like I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot more than I did when I first started. But honestly, a theme I've found just like in the design world is like nobody knows how to price things. People don't believe in the value that they're like bringing to a client, to the world. And if you don't like price things accurately and value yourself enough, it hurts the entire industry.
Yes.
Like if there's somebody that's doing like half a good a job as me and they're charging, you know, a quarter of what I charge, and then like a client doesn't know any better, they might go with them. But, and then like, that's just going to bring everything down a little bit, you know? I mean, we all have to start somewhere. Yeah. Pricing. A lot of people want to learn that. I learned so much too from my like sessions, and I log off the Zoom from them with like new friends every time. And it's so fun because I don't believe in like this competition, you know, it's like we're all together. It's all a community of artists and we can all learn so much. But I like the reason I do the creative coaching is I just hope I can like give what I needed then.
Totally.
Yeah. And like I try to post a lot of educational free content and stuff as well that I would have loved to have access to.
No, I love what you said there about, you know, the first thing about pricing, and really, if someone doesn't believe in the value they're bringing to the client, it all falls apart because the client can feel that discrepancy of like, oh, you know, like it's 1,000, but I'll do like 400. And they're like, why are you shortchanging yourself?
Yeah.
Like we're here for value. We're here for excellence. We're here for delivery, execution. Is there something I need to know? Like, what's the gap here?
Right.
Versus like, yeah, it's $2,000.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Full send.
I don't negotiate really at all. It's like, this is what the service that I'm offering is worth, and you're welcome to accept it, you know, or not.
Same. 100%.
And it took me a while to get there, but even pretty early on in my career, I've been firm in that. And like the pricing will just kind of keeps increasing like as I grow. But something I love, and I tell other like artists this, is I call it value-based pricing. So instead of like pricing things hourly, which is great, I'm also pricing for the value that I'm bringing your company. And it's taken me a while, like for example, with a t-shirt design. Now I have a rough estimate of how many hours that's going to take me. And then I think, oh, like how much money is my client about to make off of my hand, my art? So yeah, value-based pricing.
No, I 100% agree with that, because I do not really negotiate with my coaching either. It's like, this is what it is. This is what it entails. If you want it, great. If you don't, you're already showing me that you're like, it has nothing, it's projection, right? They're like, I'm just going to let you know that I'm not going to give it my all because I'm only going to pay you half. And I'm like, no, actually, no. Like, and I thank you next. And you know, I had to work through a lot of money stories being like, I need to say yes to everything, because if I don't say yes to everything, I'm not going to have any money. And it's like, okay, well, what happens if I do? I'm going to be resentful. I'm going to be annoyed. I'm going to be bitter. I'm going to hate what I do. So I didn't have any money before this conversation. So if I don't say yes, it's nothing has changed, you know? And yeah, that's been a really interesting, like money as a business topic in this space of entrepreneurship, I think is something that a lot of people struggle with. Yeah. A lot.
And like, they're thinking I don't deserve this, you know, like,
right.
I'm not worth this. Yeah. I think it's really important though to like know your worth and believe.
Yes. Yeah. That's one that not only have I like experienced a lot of own inner work around of like being worthy of this dream, you know, whether it's the life I get to live or I'll call my parents and I'll be like, it's like Tuesday afternoon. Like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm just laying in my bed. Like, just got back from the beach. Like, must be nice. And I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
It's actually
and I made
really,
this happen.
It's actually really nice. And I work really hard to make it happen, you know? And yeah, I don't have to show up at an office, and that doesn't mean I don't respect the people that do. I work with a lot of people that do, you know, and my work just looks different now.
Absolutely. I say this because I have a lot of friends that work in a very traditional like space, and I think it's like to each their own. Like if you love that, go for it. Like one of my best friends, like thrives in that environment. Her coworkers, you know, banter, like having that structure. I don't. I would rather combust, and I'm so happy that I've like created like the space to be able to live life how I want.
100%. And what I found working with a lot of people who are, you know, corporate slayers, but don't love what they do. Like I'm thinking of one client in specific, and like he is an over the top, like an over the moon dad. Like he's an excellent father, and that's really what lights him up. And yeah, he's really good at his job, and it's not like his bliss, but it provides him the space and ability to live a beautiful life with his family. And so that's where he really shines, and that's what he loves, you know? And so, and I see more and more of those type of men in my life where, you know, it might not be the absolute dream that they have, but who they get to be as a product of it makes up for all the stuff they have to put up with.
Oh, that's a beautiful like perspective.
Yeah. It's, you know, cause I think we, especially us in the entrepreneur world, especially us that have been removed for a while, it's like, oh, I would never. And it's like, I think about that sometimes. It's like, you know, if I were to have a family and that's what it took, I would absolutely do it.
100%.
You know, like I'm not above that. And right now I live in my bliss and what I get to do professionally or as my vocation in the world.
Yeah.
You know, the distinction that someone taught me years ago, and I really appreciate it, was the first place we step into is occupation. It's a job. And then as we progress, we might even have a profession, you know, something that we're really like keen on and excel at. But the goal that we're all aiming for, my belief, is vocation. What is my calling in the world? What am I here to do? And here that only Scott Stone, for as long as time has existed and as long as time will be, there will never be another me. And there's a specific song I've come here to play. And I do, you know, some, you know, faiths call it Dharma, you know, and I really do believe that this is my path, you know. And so to the point of no matter what success is, like, I'm here to sing this song and I'll do whatever it takes to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm still like uncovering what my path is too. Like I'm meant to be an artist, hear, share, help brands grow, help, you know, other artists grow. But I'm still like, I'm navigating what that looks like. And I'm excited to see where it unfolds.
Yeah. I don't remember how the quote goes. Someone was on the podcast recently, told me it was like, you know, God, we'll say spirit, you know, spirit is the DJ, the song is love, and you are the dance. You know, like we're all dancing our way through this thing and figuring out like, oh, nope, it's actually something else. And okay, great. You know, and bobbing and weaving and flowing through this soup to, you know, live the life that we want.
Yeah. Going back to like the traditional like work life thing, like a second, this past winter I had an opportunity to go out to Australia and like work in office with some design clients.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool opportunity to see what it actually would look like if I was like a designer artist, like working in an office.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful experience. Shout out if you guys are listening. Loved it so much. But just really reaffirmed that that is not what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
I only did 4 days because I negotiated that with them. I'm like, I can't. I tried 3 and they're like, nope. If we're having you come out here for, you know, 2 months, 4. I'm like, okay, fine. But I I was just exhausted, just going through those motions, like sitting at a desk drawing when I'm used to hopping on a meeting in the morning, going for a walk, coming back and working, wrapping up when I'm ready, going and surfing, you know, like it is really affirmed that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And there's something too, like the I don't know what the role you want to call it is. For some reason, the Wolf of Wall Street's in my mind, which is not that. But like
Love that movie though.
So good, especially the part with never mind. Where, you know, like you're the ringer, they call it, and, you know, like, come on in the office, we're gonna like tap into you for a couple days and then you can leave, you know, like we don't need you to be here every day. It's not gonna fulfill your bliss. It's not gonna help the team financially to make you do this. So come and play your part and then go do your thing, you know. And that's, I feel a very similar thing with corporate work of like, all right, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna supercharge your team, and then I'm gonna bounce.
Yeah.
Call me when you need me.
And I love that. That's really what it felt too. Like I got to roll in. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you just bring such a sunshine to the office." Like
Yeah, because I live in it.
they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like there's like the other office like next to ours. Like the doors are open. They're like, we can hear your laugh from across. Like we're gonna miss it so much. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, it was like fun to roll in, play that part, like create a lot of really good art, and then just peace out.
Deuces.
Yeah, like I can't wait. I could not wait to get back to Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I feel that. What's that been like for you? What's living on Hawaii and island life, and, you know, attuning to this way of life?
Yeah, I love it so much. I truly don't know how I could live any other way now. Like even on Maui, it feels too busy for me sometimes.
Totally.
Do you ever get that?
100%. When people are like, "Where are you at, bro?" I'm like, "Have you seen my place?
Yeah.
I don't leave. Like I'm just chilling in my place."
The first 3 years, I was like right in Paia, and I loved. But I'm like, oh, like when I'm walking down the road, it's just I'm getting like information overload. There's just too many cars passing me. There's too many people, and it's Paia. Like
right. It's like 8 cars.
No, people. I would like try to like share that with people, and they'd be like, "What?"
Right.
But yeah, now that I'm like out in the jungle, just oh, it's so peaceful. I love living. It's such a blessing to get to live on like these sacred islands and learn and give back and just experience life here. But it hasn't always been easy.
Tell me about that.
Oh my, like.
And I'll share mine as well, because it's an initiation.
Yeah, thankfully Maui really welcomed me like with open arms. You know how they say like, oh, the island can like
eat you up, spit you out. Yeah.
And I think it's because I never wanted to like take. It was like, oh, what can I give? But also, you know, like taking and just this mutually beneficial relationship. But yeah, it was really hard at first working for myself from home. How do I make friends?
Yep.
And thankfully, being an entrepreneur and like participating in markets and events, I was able to connect and meet people. And working out of Story coffee shop, that's where I met you. So helpful to have places like that.
Yeah.
I had this really amazing core group of friends that we were the first 2 years maybe, and then they left. And like, that's just so hard.
Yep.
And then it was just like this loneliness period of like, oh, like, but they were the best friends ever. How do I get that back?
Yeah.
And I have a really sweet group of friends now as well, which is amazing. But yeah, there's just like a lot of like loneliness that comes in living in such a beautiful place. And missing my family, missing like some of those comforts of the mainland. Like, I don't know, just going home and like I'll be in Michigan at my brother's house. I'm like, whoa, I didn't see a bug for like a week. Like, that's rad. Like, yeah, I don't know.
No, for sure. I appreciate what you said about the loneliness thing. Like, for me, my roommate told me this. He grew up in Hawaii. He grew up on Oahu and moved over to Maui. And, you know, I was talking to him about feeling really lonely of just like, I moved here. And similarly, Maui was open arms. Like, you know, I moved here because I was invited here. Like, Leo's mom died. Chester had just passed. And he asked me to come support him. And I was like, of course. Like, you know, and so I feel like I got very well welcomed into this place and didn't have a lot of like lessons in that regard. But what I did get really confronted by was loneliness, because Chester had just passed. He was ride or die next to me every day of my life, and then he was gone. And so the grief that came alongside the loneliness and like not having a place to really unpack it, because it was like, oh, I'm like spiraling in grief, and who can really relate to that? Except for the whole island that just went through the fire, you know? But there was such an interesting aspect to her. It was like, is this really something we want to talk about? You know, because there's so much anger with it. And so Leo told me one day, and it was really powerful. It really stuck with me. He said, you know, because of the island culture, this is a place where you could feel more alone than ever before. And yet, it is the most beautiful backdrop to find yourself. And I was like, damn, like that's spot on, you know, like a lot of people have established friend groups and, you know, I don't participate in the market. So unless I'm going to story, like I'm not just like reading. I mean, if I'm going out to events, like I'm a pretty outgoing person and approachable, and especially with Luce, like a lot of people will come up to me. And so I've made a lot of friends and it's really easy for me to just hide, to just like
Me too.
blend in, do my thing, not talk to anybody, you know, and then I'm like, why am I so lonely? I'm like, because I'm trying to be. You know?
Yeah. Are you more introverted?
Totally.
I label myself as an extroverted introvert. I would feel that
Same.
from you as well.
Yeah.
Because you know, you can talk to anybody. You're so friendly, but like
I'm a very outgoing person, but I recharge in my solitude.
me too. I can't any other way actually. My dog she's like the only other like thing with a heartbeat that could like recharge me.
Yep.
Like
On that note, maybe we jump into the topic of dogs and grief and just love for furry animals.
we've both had really similar experiences, I feel like, and like felt grief really heavily. Whereas I feel like a lot of people don't tap into that. Like, what do you think?
I mean, I'll definitely resonate that I felt it really heavily.
Yeah.
I think most people do, but for one reason or another, they choose to get busy. They feel the pummeling waves of grief, and they're like, I don't have time for this. It's stopping me or slowing me down, and I got to keep going. So I'm going to do something else, or I'm going to get another dog, or I'm going to go find a new hobby. And I just loved Chester so much that I wasn't willing to do that, to the point where I cried every day for a year, like just pummeled day after day. And I was thinking about it yesterday where I was like, oh, I don't think about Chester that often. I was like, you know, I'm very grateful for Luce. She's a lot of fun. And
She's so cute.
she's so cute. You know, I waited a year. I really waited to properly grieve him. And I really feel like I did that. Like, I don't feel like I rushed it. I don't feel like I bypassed it. But I swam in that just deep sea for a long time. And it was rough. It was very rough.
I can fully relate to that. It's been the hardest thing that I've ever went through. But I think I tried to do the thing like, oh, get busy. So yeah, when Leica passed, it was so hard. Yeah, crying every single day. And I'm on Maui by myself. A lot of the people that I was friends with and like close with, I didn't feel like I could just truly share how I felt. It was like my friends that had moved off island or on the mainland, like were the only people that I felt safe to just like fully share that with. And I think that was my own doing. Like if I could have shared, and now I have with certain people, but I just didn't feel safe. And that made me feel lonelier than ever. Because I'm like here just going through this by myself. I had to stop even going. Like I used to go to Story every single day. I almost had to stop because it just like, and I don't even know why. It just made me think of her like too much. Like made me think of Leica. I don't know. Cause like I would be in Story every day and then at like 7 a.m. and then make sure I'm home by noon to like let her out and like have our little girls afternoon. And you know, like after she passed, like I stopped surfing every day, which that was a huge part of my flow. There's a ton of things that I stopped doing.
Wow.
And then a few months after she passed, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get off Maui and I'm going to travel. And then I'm going to come back and everything's going to feel better. Boy, was I wrong.
Right. Grief, you just wait. I'll be
Yeah,
right back.
yeah. You just wait exactly in the place where I left you, like in the same house that I had to come back to. Like it's always there. And I didn't address it. And so I traveled for 3 months, mainland, Nicaragua. I remember I was in Nicaragua and I barely like touched the grief other than like being emotional and crying every single day. And there's all these like street dogs there. And I'm just getting so sad because I'm like, my dog was a Oahu street dog. I got her when I lived on Oahu. So I'm like, that's Leica. And like, it just made me feel so sad. And one day I saw this like emaciated dog that was probably going to pass away soon. And then I just saw all these butterflies flying. And I'm in a coffee shop and I just start bursting out in tears. I'm like, that's Leica right there. And that was slowly the start of like healing a little bit more.
Yep.
But yeah, after like in that grief journey, I came back to Maui. And it just was worse because I just wasn't facing it. And then started in December. So what's like 8 months ago, started therapy for like a whole slew of other things. But grief being a big one of them. And that's when I finally started to actually process a year later.
Totally.
So like for anybody who's listening, don't delay that because it will come. It will come.
And you it's pay now or pay later with interest.
Yeah. And if I wasn't working on it now, imagine I wait years and I lose a family member, or like it's just going to keep compounding, or like, what am I going to pass on to my kids someday? Like,
Right. I was so grateful that I started therapy the year before, you know, cause I was in therapy for like 9 months at the time. And, you know, one day I just got on the call with my therapist and I was just like, yeah, Chester died last week. And she was like, wait, what? Like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not okay. I'm fucking 1,000,000% not okay right now. And just let myself fall into that abyss, you know? And I was shocked at all the other things. Like, this dude was such a gift, you know? Like, he became the toilet bowl flush for so much trauma. Of like, we're going to cry so hard. I don't even know what we're going to cry about, but we're going to release a lot. Like, he allowed me to release so many things because he was the portal, like the access point to my tears. Like, he gave me such a visceral experience. And he would visit me in the craziest of ways, like things that are unimaginable. Like, he fully, I was teaching a retreat in Colombia, and his face fully came out of the clouds, like definition. And I was just like, I'm sober right now. You guys see that? And they're like, oh my God. Like, yeah. And I was like, okay, just checking. Like, I have a full picture of it. Like, he would visit me in EO and come through the clouds, all sorts of crazy things. Like,
that's beautiful.
And, you know, I remember like the amount of self-loathing and self-hatred, because Chester died really unexpectedly. Like, I put him down. On Monday, he had a tumor on his elbow and he ate it off one day. It was Labor Day. It was actually, it'll be 2 years in like a week.
How old was he?
14. And so I woke up and I was like, oh shit, that's not good. Like, now he can't walk, you know? And so, you know, that was a Monday, and on Friday I put him down. And the amount of self-loathing and self-hatred that came up after that, of like, you killed your fucking dog, bro.
Yeah.
You deserve every bit of this. And I would bawl. I remember I was teaching a breathwork retreat in Kansas City. So I was in Kansas City, and my friend was out of town. He was at Burning Man. So it was like right around this time. And he's like, hey, doors open. I put wood in the sauna. Make yourself at home. So I'm in this guy's house by myself. He has a beautiful wood-fired sauna. And I sat in that sauna and I scream cried. And I remember at one point just bawling, and Chester came in and he was like, dude, you did the right thing. That's what he said. He's like, I forgive you. You did the right thing. And I was like, it doesn't feel that way. I was screaming this. And he's like, I hear you. And you still did the right thing. And I was just like, it took me a long time to work through that, because there's something so unfair about owning pets, of like, who am I to make the choice of ending something else's life?
Yeah.
And granted, we do it every time we go to a restaurant, and we're not actually doing it, right? Like, someone else did it for us. But like, in this regard, like, I fed this guy for a decade and a half, you know, like, he was there every day. And then I pay someone $800 to put him down.
Yeah.
And
It's
turn
way
him.
too expensive to do that, by the way.
Well, the reason is because it was a private one. So like, they came to the house. I got to be with him.
Sweet.
He now sits in a wooden box on my mantle, which also is weird. That now now that my dog is in a box, like, that's also really weird. But like, that was one of those moments. Like, I was struggling financially, and I called my parents, and I was like, I want to do this, and I can't afford it. And my mom was just like, we got you. We'll send you the money, you know? And I was just like, you know, like, there are moments like that where it's been, you know, and he even helped me heal a lot with my family, because my brother, who abused me a lot growing up, he bought Chester for my parents when my dad was out of work in the recession in 2008. And then when my wedding got called off in 2013, he became my dog because I was suicidal. You know, like, my parents were like, dude's not doing well. They're like, we think Chester should become your dog. And I was like, that's a really good idea. And so he became my dog.
He was there with you through it all.
Through all of it. Through all of it, you know. And losing my job and all this stuff, you know. And then one day he was like, okay, you don't need me anymore. It's time to grow up. And I said, like, I became a man the day Chester died, because I held his hand while he died. Like, that's not a boy thing to do. That's a man thing to do, you know. And man, the crash course in being a man in the world, not a boy, but a man, you know, and what it means to walk with integrity and to be a space of safety for people. Like, I really have a lot of compassion for the grown boys of the world, you know. I call Maui oftentimes the island of Peter Pan.
Yes.
Because there's so many boys on this island.
Every guy has it. Makes it hard to date.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. It's an interesting grief to me is the most beautiful and heart-wrenching ceremony that we go through as humans.
Yeah. I'm finally realizing that this is like my first real experience with grief. I've had loss when I was younger, you know, grandpa, stuff like that. But like, the first thing that, like, I've loved nothing more than I've ever loved my dog. I've never felt anything like it. But I really hear you with like the shame and the guilt of having to make that choice. Because I had to do the same thing, you know, choosing to put my dog down. And that's been the hardest part for me. Like, was that the hardest part for you, or?
Yes and no. Like, yes, in the sense that I had to make the call. No, in the sense that, like, he was old.
Yeah.
You know, like, he wasn't walking, he wasn't eating, pooping.
Yeah.
Like he was done. You know, so that made it easier that, like, because I could have kept him alive.
Yeah.
And watched my dog suffer for my own, like, coping of loneliness. And I chose not to. The hardest part for me was what I'll call, like, the death of my innocence, you know, of the little boy in me who was like, life's fair, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, life's not fair. Life just is. And some of it's very unfair.
Yeah.
Childhood trauma, sexual abuse, like, that's not fair. There's nothing fair about that. And sometimes that's just what happens, you know. And when Chester died, it became very clear to pull the blindfold off of, like, life's not fair, dude. Like, some things are very unfair, and your dog dying unexpectedly is one of them. And it allowed me to get very angry of, like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? You know, and that was probably the hardest thing, was just, like, the hole that he left, you know. Like, one day he was there and the next day he was gone. And it was like, now what? What do I do? Like, the cognitive dissonance in that, like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, that was probably the hardest part. But very closely was the, you know, and this is one of the most beautiful things my father has ever said to me, no question. I was visiting my parents, my brother, back in Christmas of 2023. And I was sitting in my brother's kitchen. Everybody had gone to bed except for my dad and I. We're just sitting in the kitchen. And he looked at me. We're standing around the island. And he looked at me. He goes, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm really struggling. Like, I'm so sad about Chester dying and the fact that I had to put him down. I feel like such a piece of shit for having to kill my dog, or to put him down."
Yeah.
And my dad looks at me, and I'm crying. And my dad looks at me and he says, "You know, Scott, it was your burden to have to make the call. It's not your burden to carry it."
I need to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
It was so relieving to see how unfair it is that I had to make the call to end my best friend's life.
Yeah.
But it's not my call. Like, it's not my burden to carry. I did it from a loving place. As unloving as it feels sometimes. And ultimately, that's just the guy who's really lonely, who really misses his dog. That's why he's so self-berating, is because he's pissed that his dog's not here anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And so I can hold him now. I can be like, "I get it, bud. Like, I miss him too." You know? I've got so many reminders of Chester, including this huge fucking tattoo.
I love your that tattoo.
Yeah, like, he is always with me now.
Yeah.
You know? Never... He's closer to me than ever before, you know? And so it has been quite a eye-opening experience. But what I tell people is I hope that you get to experience this level of love.
The most beautiful thing ever. I want to feel that with a human. Like, I hope to God that can happen someday.
I don't know if it's possible. Dogs are just so pure.
And it's so unconditional.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, what a beautiful example of that. Like, unconditional love.
Yeah.
For me, like, the loneliness after my dog passed, like, how that felt, it made me readdress the reason I actually got her in the first place was actually because I was so lonely.
Yep.
I had been living in Maine, like living, career nannying, educating for this family. And it was like one of the craziest experiences of my life. And they had their dogs. I just fell in love with their dogs. And that's the first time I actually had that type of love with an animal, because we didn't have, our dog growing up passed away when I was in like first grade. Couldn't really remember her. And so I loved their dogs so much. They got me through a hard time of navigating living in the middle of the woods of Maine with this family. And then I moved to Oahu, and that loneliness just follows you. You know, like, it's
pack it right in your bag.
Exactly. And I thought, which I'm so happy I made the decision, but I thought, oh yeah, go adopt a street dog. You will feel better. And I did. I really did. Like, she was my best friend from Oahu to Alaska to Maui, and like the one constant. And so when I was like moving to these new places and feeling a lot of loneliness because I didn't have community, you know, family around, like, was pretty solo, she was the one thing that I could turn to and be like, oh, I'm not alone. Like, I've got you. So then having her pass away and be like, oh, you really need to confront this. And it was really hard, but I confronted it in a healthy way. I tried not to mask. Like, yeah, I ran away from stuff, but I almost got a new dog, but I was like, nope, you can't do that. Had decided you can't date anymore, because that's just going to, you know, help like get those little dopamine fixes and pull away. So I'm like, nope, you can't date. Like, you have to confront that, like, yourself.
Beautiful.
Really hard to do, though.
I mean, it speaks to how big of a person you are that you're willing to look at that. You know, it's, you know, the quote is, the new devil is cheap dopamine. You know, and how much of us are just trying to fill a hole with someone else's presence, or something else's presence. And it's definitely something I've struggled with, and have made a lot of progress through things like therapy and just sitting by myself for hours at a time. But it's probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings that I've had to that I've chosen to let myself feel, is loneliness.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really what we're designed for, but
No.
you know, we are such
Designed to connect.
Right. We're such a separated society now, for a number of reasons, irrelevant to the, you know, to the point of like, it just is what it is these days, you know? And so the more I've gotten to sit with my lonely parts, Like I had a friend over for breakfast and we just talked about loneliness, you know, and I've got like almost a decade on him. So I was just talking about what I've done to like sit with my lonely parts, you know, and befriend them, because ultimately there is a little version of me who's holding something all by himself and I don't want to deal with him. So he feels lonely. And the more that I've cultivated a willingness and receptivity to his presence, being like, oh, that makes sense, bud. Tell me more. He's like, yo, you know that thing? I'm like, yep. Keep telling me more, you know, versus like, ugh, that thing again. You know, like he's just like, oh God, you too? Like, never mind. I'll go disassociate, you know, and learning how to really invite him to the table and be like, yeah, buddy, I get it, you know? And that's, you know, something that I think for my journey that breathwork has allowed, you know, in my art creation has allowed me to create a space to talk about some really like hard things, you know? That is the other thing I would say that has confronted me on Maui is like my own personal journey with my body and like what I could some days call self-loathing or just self-rejection of just like, God, I wish this thing were different. And it's not. It's just is what it is right now today. And to just hold that, you know, and to notice that like no one on the beach cares.
So hard to like
Right.
to remember that though.
Right.
Yeah.
No one here cares what I'm looking like or doing. If anything, they're stoked about Luce, but they really don't care. And I care. I care a lot. And, you know, I actually, and I've never shared this, and I guess I will now, like, I was teaching breathwork a couple weeks ago, and I was, you know, the topic was resistance. And I was like, you know, I'll share, I'll lead, you know, because I'm the facilitator here. And I was like, yeah, I woke up just like loathing my body. I was looking in the mirror, just like talking shit to him, just like, ugh, you again. And so I just shared that and just let it be. And, you know, the other participants shared. And then we went into the breath work. And while I was cueing them to breathe, I turn around and look in the mirror and I look at myself. And I'm like, when did this start? Like, what are you carrying?
When did it?
And it was so clear. Like when I was sharing, I was like, he's 14. And I looked at him in the mirror and I said, what are you carrying? And it's so interesting. I can feel this in my stomach right now. He looked at me in the mirror and he was like, I was raped. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because when I was 14, I was sexually abused by someone who I thought was my friend. And I had never used that word. But it was so very apparent that that's what happened. Like, and I even Googled the definition of the words and it was like, yep, definitely that's what happened.
But you hadn't made that connection before?
Nope. That's why I was carrying the weight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he didn't have anybody to turn to. He didn't take it anywhere. He didn't process it. And so for 25 almost years, I've just been carrying this weight as this shame burden that was just like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense why that'd be there. And I was so sad for him. To just be like, I'm so sorry I've beaten the shit out of you for feeling so incredibly hurt and alone. And since then have like taken it back to therapy and like uncovered more and, you know, and like just allowed me to create a lot more compassion around my body and what it's been willing to hold for me. Like it's transmuted so much of that. And it's sometimes still there, you know, it's sometimes like, okay, this is currently the way it is. And can I be with that? You know, can I hold that? And so, yeah, I guess I just share all that to like humanize myself, and that, you know, there are reasons that bodies present the way they do, and they're not always so fucking obvious that like we just have poor diet. Like that's probably the last of it, you know?
Yeah,
like it's really
absolutely.
not it. You know?
Absolutely. There's a lot. That's something I'm working on in therapy right now, is like, oh, all these emotional things and experiences that we hold on to. But like, I'm like pretty similar. I can't like think of a recent day when I haven't like picked myself apart.
Sure.
And I can remember as early as in like second, third grade, like noticing like things about my body that I didn't like. And yeah, the way I look that are still so real.
Yeah.
But it's good to talk about them and bring
really
them to
is.
the light.
It really is. And like, just to, you know, like I shared before we started this, just to give people a space to see that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, the people are doing it, male and female, and doing it in a way that isn't shameful, that isn't berating, that's just like, yeah, I get it. I see you. I appreciate your willingness to meet me there. Like, it's a conversation, and Amber, my partner, has been such a beautiful example of this. You know, she has 5 children, you know, and
Wait, there's no way.
she has 5 children.
Wow.
Yeah, she has 5 kids. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's the most incredible mother I've ever witnessed.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
just sometimes honestly triggers my mother wound, because I'm just like, what the where were you when I needed it? You know, she's like, I'm here right now. I'm like, it's really interesting. But yeah, she's an incredible mom, and doesn't look at all like she's had 5 kids.
At
like,
all.
Yeah, she's in her 40s. Like, it's just wild. But she has her own body stuff too, you know, and it's given me an opportunity to see where I project that standard onto her, and the beauty industry, and what is beautiful, and all this stuff. And like, you know, like really helping me cultivate like honor and reverence that this woman lets me share her body, you know, and vice versa, of course. But like, there's a whole different thing that I don't think men will ever understand, hopefully, unless chosen, of what it means to have someone inside of you. You know, like, that's not a thing that most men understand. And so the vulnerability that a woman invites herself into in that experience is like, dudes, you can have a little respect for the experience. You're like,
Absolutely.
yeah, like, I think men have a lot of growing up to do,
Yeah.
you know, and I put myself in that boat sometimes of just like, you know, sometimes I want to be a little boy, and I want to complain and kick and scream and tantrum and all that stuff. And, you know, it's, yeah, I think about this quote a lot with regards to my partnership, that men protect women in the physical realm, women protect men in the spiritual realm. You know, like, you have an ability as the feminine to like call us out on our shit and see where we're out of integrity, oftentimes before we're even seeing it.
We just know.
Right. You can just feel it, you know, and it's like, you know, and then, you know, men have a different role, and to honor both of those roles is vitally important. No one better than the other, but they're both really important. You know, it's been this relationship has been deeply, deeply healing. You know,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes to the point where I'm like, I don't want to do any more healing.
Yeah. No. And when you like are authentically yourself, like, your partner has to see every part of you. Like,
Right.
you just can't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Like, to like let it all come up.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, there's been many times where I've wanted to run away, but like, I don't want you to see this part of me. She's like, bro, I've already seen it. You're just seeing me see you. How's that feel? I'm like, oh, why do you love these parts of me? She's like, because I love you. I'm like, oh.
So beautiful to be seen and loved, though.
Totally. You know, what a gift.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I never planned it, you know. I if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be dating a woman with 5 children, I'd be like, what the fuck? You know, like, but it's, I mean, her kids are incredible, you know, like, it's a really beautiful thing.
It takes a strong man to like step into a relationship like that as well, and like see all the beauty in that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting thing to witness, you know. And I remember like last time her kids were visiting, and I took like 3 or 4 of them to like ice cream, just them and me, you know. And like she went off and worked or something. I don't remember what she did. But like the littlest one, she's 8. She like fell off a bar stool and like started crying, and I like helped her up and got her all cleaned up and whatnot. And she told me afterward, told her mom afterwards, she was like, Mom, this guy was so nice. He like got me a Band-Aid and like picked me up and like took care of me. It was like, it was so sweet. It was so sweet. Yeah, it was really cute.
I would love to see you in that role.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dance, you know. Like, there's a lot of me that's like, because I'm still learning how to attune to my own needs, that part of me is like, no, like, I want the attention. I want it, you know.
Oh, I feel that.
And when I get that attention, I'm like, oh, of course I can do this. This is fine, you know. Like, this isn't a big deal, you know. And Amber's been really clear. She's like, look, they already have a dad. They don't need another one. You want to be a supportive male role in their life? Great. You're not here to take care of them. You're not here to pay for them. Like, that's not what I want you here for. I want you to be a supportive role in their life. If anything, you're my partner first, period. And so I'm like, damn. And then, it's funny because most people are like, well, if she says that. And I'm like, most people who just say that haven't done a lick of work. She's done an incredible amount of work.
Right. So what she says, she means.
Yeah. Like it's been a really, interesting thing to witness, to just experience and go through. Yeah.
Beautiful though.
Yeah. I've always said, like, I'm good being a dog dad. Like, that's enough for me. I don't necessarily need children. Do I think I'd make a great dad? Absolutely. Do I really want to? I don't know. Yeah. So I think the surrender and letting go, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
I can do it with a dog.
Being a dog mom was like my favorite thing ever. Just being a mom. I just have that in me.
I see that.
Nurturing, like
Totally.
Caretaking. And I really would love to be a human mom someday.
Totally. I could totally see that.
But also love just like living and like doing my thing right now, and also don't have somebody that I want to have kids with. But like I've been with people that I really like want to have children with and like see that. So I'm excited for that maybe someday.
Yeah.
Let the world unfold.
That's the beauty of the intelligence of life. Like that which is for you will never pass you. If that's what you're meant to do, you will.
You're just popping out all the good quotes. Like, how do you store them in there?
I have a lot of them in there. Hundreds.
Like, I don't.
Yeah. Your art, that's my, the medium I traffic in most is language. Like a lyrical wordsmith,
Yeah.
Because it's learn, like for me, it's one of my coaches, the quote he is like, words are the wardrobe of the soul. Right. And so we use our languaging to concoct our reality, and then we live inside of it. Right. We live in a narrative about who we are. That conversation we have around body image is nothing more than a conversation.
Yeah.
But we have so much evidence stored in the muscles of our body, the emotional body, that we're like, no, this is true. It's like, I don't know about true. It may be real. It might be my reality, but it's not a truth, And so I have just fallen deeply, deeply in love with words and like really understanding them and how to utilize them and understanding like how alluring they are to believe. Yeah. Like we really do. We're addicted, we're addicted to the ideas of ourselves, to these, like you said at the beginning, right? These labels, they're not necessary, but they are helpful. If you're walking across the street and someone yells your name, like you're going to look.
Yeah.
They have a utility, but at the same time, there are certain words that don't have, a lot of help to them. Yeah. But in order to let go of them, we have to see what benefit they have had in us picking them up. Because our body is the opportunist. Like it doesn't do anything wastefully. So there's a reason we picked up these things and we say these things over us, whether it's protective mechanism, whether it's, the ability to not have to deal with rejection, whatever that is, like there's a reason. And when we can identify that, then we have a chance at letting them go, and so, yeah, that's my medium of choice, I would say.
Yeah, visual for me. I look on Instagram. I have a whole all these quotes that I save into like a your little saved thing. But still, it's like it's reading them, but also seeing them, and they're like laid out in a beautiful aesthetic way.
Yeah, I wish part of my creativity was more like in that, I don't know, like artistic form or whatever you want to call it. Like I have the iPad and the pencil, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this thing. Like I'm just taking notes on coaching calls. This is the extent of me using this pencil. I'm like, well, whatever. That's currently the case.
Hey, if you want to learn more though, I got you.
Okay. Noted. Yeah.
For real. We can do a art sesh and then a breathwork cold plunge sesh.
100%. I'm ready. I would love that. You've had some incredible looking travels this past year.
Yeah.
You mentioned Australia, Japan, Alaska. I want to say tell me your favorite one, but I'm going to see if you say the one I want, and then I'm going to selfishly be like, I want to hear this one. What one sticks out the most?
100% Alaska.
Yes.
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 100%
Worked.
Alaska.
It worked, y'all.
Favorite trip of the year. First time in Japan, or the first Japan trip I took in the beginning of the year, snowboard trip was really fun too, though.
That's so good.
There was like maybe 15 of us girls just like riding amazing runs.
I
fresh
need to get to
powder.
Alaska or to
Yeah.
Japan. I want to go so bad. I just want to eat my face off there.
Dude, it's what happens.
Yeah.
I've been now 4 times. And this last time that I was there was my first like just like work trip in Japan, so I didn't have as
Yeah.
much time. I felt like to indulge as I normally do, but
Yeah.
it's the best part. Just like the food, the culture. But yeah, one of my favorite trips this year was for sure Alaska. So I know I've told you a bit about it, but my best friend has this really amazing boyfriend. Love him so much. And him and his twin brother, they have a commercial fishing boat. So I got to do the Inside Passage, which is Bellingham, Washington, up to Alaska. So I think we were like 5 days at sea. It was just the sickest crew ever. Like the best people ever. So like my best friend Sierra, her boyfriend Conrad, his brother Emmett, these 2 amazing crew girls, Malia and Kiana, and then our friend Kyle. And it was just like totally like the Breakfast Club movie, like all these just like random people from these different parts of the world, but like all meshed together. And like we just got each other. And like felt like adult summer camp too, where you just you're together 24/7, you're cooking every meal. Not much really matters. Like there's nothing to do but play games, learn how to tie different fishing knots that some of us didn't know how to do.
Sick.
Clove hitch, bowline knot. Yeah, shit was fun.
Amazing.
And I love when I can do things I've never done before.
Yeah.
Like, so none of that. Like I used to live in Alaska, but not like on a boat.
Right.
Like I
Right.
lived in the mountains. And so to have all these experiences of things that I've never done before, like nothing lights me up more.
Yeah.
And just like the fringiest, weirdest, randomest things I can do. Like
Yeah.
I want to do them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool, especially because with the sickest group in the world.
It looks so good. And the art you were dropping on the daily of just like painting backgrounds. I'm like, what?
Dude, it was so fun. Like
It looked epic.
yeah. One day though, I had like 3 meetings. So I still was like, oh, we're gonna be at sea. Like we literally have nothing to do. So I'm like, oh, I'll keep my normal work schedule. Well, it was the one day that we were going out into the open ocean versus like the whole time we were on like the Inside Passage. So
Yeah.
like it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm in my little cabin room, like trying to take these meetings, just like rocking back and forth, like feeling so seasick.
Oh, I bet.
So I had some work meetings, and my last meeting of the day, it was actually therapy. And I ended like 20 minutes early. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I think I'm going to throw up.
Right.
And she was like, I'm proud of you for like knowing your needs right now.
Right. Like I'm going to go have a release in the water.
And I didn't, thankfully, that whole trip, never
Nice.
got sick, but it would, if you were like in your room or down in like the kitchen, like AKA the galley,
Yeah.
like cooking
Yeah.
and stuff, and you were like enclosed, you would feel kind of sick. So
Oh, yeah.
like going up top would be really helpful.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it looked so great. I definitely want the deets on the next year. So interested.
It was so fun. I hope to do it again.
Yeah, it looked so epic.
But another awesome trip was the second time I was in Japan this year, which I just got back from like 2 weeks ago, maybe. So much has happened. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. It was my first like art, like in big business event there. And like I don't know if you know, but like Japan loves Hawaii and Hawaii loves Japan.
I could see that.
And like they love Hawaii artists and like just in general.
Yeah.
Like I wonder, maybe it's because we're so close and it's Hawaii. Like, but it was so fun. So, and how being at this event all came about was I participate in Made on Maui Festival every year. And this past year, these buyers from this Japanese store called Takashimaya, they came and like we got to schedule interviews like with them. So I like schedule an interview. I pitch my art prints and products and like whatnot. I'm so goofy. I am making a fool of myself. So I thought, because I'm just being myself. No, they loved it. They ate it up. And I think that too, that was like rewiring that like part in my brain where it's like, no, you can actually be yourself.
100%.
And like even right now, I'm just like feeling like myself.
Right.
Like sometimes I would like filter in some of these scenarios, but yeah, I was fully myself. They loved it. Long story short, this department store, Takashimaya, it's like the equivalent of like Nordstrom in the US, you know, like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They hired me to do the logo for this event. It's called Fresh Fun Hawaii.
Cool.
And it travels to like all the stores like throughout the summer. And then like a month before I went to Japan, they were like, hey, do you want to come out to the Kyoto one?
Yeah.
And they'd been showing my work also at all of like my art had been traveling with
Yeah.
the show, which was cool. But they're like, do you want to come out? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like pretty busy. But I was like, yeah, I'll come. And I'm the person that like, I'm going to wait to the last minute to start planning for it and prepping because I'm just worrying about what's in front of me.
Yeah.
So they wanted me to bring some like original paintings, which I did. I'd been prepping for that, but I didn't ask any other details about what was going on. And then I'm on the plane over and I like message like the guy that like was my point of contact. I'm like, hey, are there any other like Hawaii artists? And he sends me the list of like the 5 other, I think there's 5 other artists who are people that I've like looked up to forever.
Really?
Yes. This one artist in particular too, Nick Kachar, he has a podcast. It's called Secondary Colors. So for any artists like listening to it, listening to this, amazing podcast. And I was listening to his podcast when I was living in Alaska after I had moved off Oahu, wanting to move back to Hawaii. But I'm like, how do I do this? And I wasn't doing art full time. So his podcast literally like helped me get to where I am 100%. And then I get to be at this event like with him. And like, I was just honestly, I was a total fangirl. Like I went up to him like, dude, your podcast, love your like I've looked up to you forever. And he's like, oh, thanks. You never know who's listening. Like just like so like sweet and like humble about it.
Wow.
And then I think it was that night, like the other artists were like, oh, like let's all go out and get drinks together. Cause we had like been like working and like with our art being displayed at the event. And like, I just get to go out and get drinks. Like I think we went to like 3 different bars with all these artists that I've just like looked up to forever. And I'm like, oh, like we're all just humans. And like,
yep.
Yeah. And I was just like totally being myself. You know, I'm the young one of the crew. Like I've, you know, just like being goofy, young baby. Like they've all been like doing this professionally for a hell of a lot longer than I have.
Wow.
But it was so fun. Like it just was a really full circle moment.
Yeah. That's epic. I love
Yeah.
that. Different vibe, but deeply impactful as well.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. Those are my top 2 trips of the year.
Love that.
Alaska.
Favorite thing you ate while you were there?
In Japan, this last time around, since it was more of a work trip, I was just kind of like nourishing like when I could. But I go back to when I was there earlier this year in like uni. Like I love.
Oh my God.
Wait, was that a good? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Love uni. Like the weirder, the better. Like ate like raw like Kobe beef.
Yeah.
Like so yummy.
Oh yeah. I go to Nuka just to get uni.
Yeah, dude, it didn't hit as much as it did for Japan in me.
Yeah.
But I recently went and I made like all my friends like we're all getting
love
this.
it.
Yeah, it's
I love
so
it.
good.
It's so good.
Now we need to figure out how to like go and like get it ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. It's on the list. If you had a message to share with the world, what would it be?
Do it afraid and do it alone. Like you like be scared, do the thing, do it by yourself. Nobody needs to come and save you and be with you. Way back in like 2021, I created an art piece with that, and it just stuck with me.
I love that. And the other one is, what does it mean to be human?
To me, at this moment, is just to like show up authentically as yourself, flaws and all. Let people see that and embrace you. And if they don't, that's okay.
And not for you.
Yeah.
I love that. This has been so much fun. Like you said before we started, we could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Literally.
We did.
Did we even
Yeah.
What even happened? I feel like it's
Right.
been a couple minutes.
We blinked and it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was wonderful, Sarah. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
I so needed this just to talk, process, spend time with you,
Yeah, this is
learn
perfect.
from you.
Thank you for the opportunity to
great.
contribute. Where can people find more about you and witness your work?
Yeah. Instagram, I always say it's where my business lives. So at Sarcreate, my website, www.sarcreate.co. Yeah, Insta, you can check me out there.
Awesome. Beautiful. So yeah, so if anybody wants to check out the art, get some creative coaching, witness you at somewhere art show, whether it's Maui, Oahu, or Japan, apparently. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And thank you to the audience for your time and attention. And until next episode, aloha.